Hello, good evening and welcome to Camnet TV Main News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo to present. Top stories in the news tonight. ECZ claims ignorance over the foreign elements found among ballot papers. Prominent judge recuses herself from the KAMBWILI case against David SIMUSAMBA. Paramount Chief CHITIMUKULU speaks out on political violence. In international news, Kenya's pandemic plan upset by vaccine shortages. And in sports news, BESTON, CHAMBESHI and team have a busy 4 months ahead of the QATAR 2022 FIFA World Cup qualifiers.
Are you a small to medium enterprise looking to advertise your products and services within your community and across Zambia? In these economic times, we are here to help you grow your business. Advertise with us on Camnet Market. Camnet Market is offering lower rates for prime time advertising between 06 to 18 hours every day to give your business an edge under the new normal and beyond. For more details, contact us on the following numbers: 097 975 3010 or 096 296 5883, as well as 096 244 726. You can also reach us via email on info@camnettvafrica.com. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Hello once again, another news in detail. The last consignment of ballots for the 2021 general elections has been received amidst confusion as an identified cargo was spotted being offloaded from the Emirates flight, which was assigned to carry the ballots. This sparked suspicions from stakeholders such as political parties who demanded for the cargo to be opened. Meanwhile, the country has received the last consignment of ballots for 47 constituencies and awaits verification of the ballots tomorrow, the 31st of July 2021. We have more in this report.
As the gates closed behind the last consignment of ballot papers for Zambia's general elections, a non-cargo was spotted being offloaded from the Emirates flight, which was strictly assigned to carry ballot papers. This caused anger and suspicions from political parties present, who demanded for the unknown cargo to be opened.
We are surprised that we have this consignment that we are not sure of. And what we are demanding here as political parties, all the political parties that are represented here, is that we must be able to check what is in here.
Not informed in terms of this consignment. So we want to find out what's in here. That's what we're waiting for.
Demanded from ECZ to tell us what happened, what transpired for this consignment to get onto where it was not supposed to. So we need all these clarifications to avoid the speculations. We expected only to see the ballot papers, in short, election materials, not phones, not motors, not these other things. And whose are they?
Unfortunate that even the ECZ is not aware that actually these things were going to come on board.
Officials from the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, when questioned, were at pains to explain how the cargo found itself on the flight as they made one phone call after the other. It was finally decided that the unknown cargo should be opened as the political party representatives grew angrier as time went by. Upon opening the boxes, it was discovered that some of them contained batteries and mobile phones, while others could not be opened due to the boxes being too many. Meanwhile, some of the political party representatives had this to say after the unknown cargo was opened.
During elections, do we use phones? The answer is yes. What if there's an app there? When dealing with PVT, we use the phones. So we want to ensure that these materials, there are batteries, there are phones, they can be kept at the warehouse until after elections.
ECZ Senior Corporate Affairs Officer Ms. Sylvia Walya states that ECZ does not know how the cargo found itself on the flight meant to only carry ballot papers.
We received what we came to receive, and the other consignment is not under the Electoral Commission of Zambia. We were only here to receive our ballot papers.
Maybe are you able to confirm with us whether this flight was specially chartered by the Electoral Commission of Zambia?
Yes, of course. The chartered flights, all the 4 flights, were chartered to deliver the consignments of ballot papers for the general election.
Meanwhile, The country has received the last consignment of ballot papers for 47 constituencies and awaits verification of the ballot papers set for 31st July 2021. Zipora Mushala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, has extended the election accreditation exercise by 3 days. ECZ Acting Chief Electoral Officer Roy Katongo says the exercise that was scheduled to end on Friday, the 30th of July 2021, will instead end on the 2nd of August 2021. Mr. Katongo says the accreditation center at the Commission headquarters in Lusaka and in all district centers will remain open for the next 3 days. Meanwhile, Democratic Party Lusaka Central Constituency aspiring candidate Mashindi Ntambo says ECZ should review how the accreditation process is being done, adding that it will be impossible to capture the needed number of election monitors.
We've been here, we've been camped here, we have mothers here with their children, little babies that are struggling to get accreditation. I think for me this speaks of, it's worrisome, because if, for instance, it takes only, you need 10 monitoring agents, and those 10 monitoring agents times the number of constituencies in Lusaka Central, ideally it's supposed to have probably times the number of candidates. And this is the situation. Now imagine the situation where you have polling agents. The polling agents are paid polling district. That means it's going to be chaos. I feel ECZ has to review the processes, has to review how these things are done, because this is not tenable. And I must say also, this also is a COVID hotspot. You're actually brewing trouble here. Mr. Sindanyo, the plea that we're making is let this system of polling agents, accreditation, and also the accreditation of election monitors, let it be done at constituency level. This is not going to work.
A group of female aspiring candidates, both at parliamentary and ward level, have called on the media to help tell a better story about female politicians. Speaking during a media engagement organized by the non-governmental organization Coordinating Council NGO-CC, New Farms Ward under Chilanga constituency aspiring independent councillor Ruth Kangwa says there is need for deliberate gender transformative content in media institutions that help eliminate certain norms that society has put about women in politics. She says these negative norms discourage women from taking up political positions. We have details in the following report.
Over the years, women have remained discriminated from both participating and benefiting from the various developmental processes in the country because of the entrenched patriarchy within our societies, where women have remained on the peripheries of the development trajectory. It is clear that society still has a bias towards the male gender, as was evidenced in the adoption process for the August 12th elections. An analysis of the adoption in all the political parties reveals the lack of political will to adopt more women as councillors and indeed as members of parliament. This is according to the non-governmental gender organization's coordinating council. It is for this reason that some women aspiring candidates at both parliamentary and councillor level respectively have called for the narrative to be changed.
And the media needs to be able to strive for accuracy, impartiality, because often you are the perpetrators of gender inequality here in Zambia. We need to see more of the media lobbying, advocating to create content in which you have a more inclusive environment for women and also young women in these political spaces.
For women aspiring candidates, you find that who wants to participate in politics or who are already in politics, you find that the media will be interested in portraying the woman mainly for their personal appearance. Attention is given to how do they look like, are they pretty, how are they dressed like, and you've seen cyberbullying. In fact, I'll give an example of the running mates, Kaduluo, who has really been cyberbullied.
Cyberbullying, because people take comfort behind the veil of the visual media to utter anything, to the person.
Speaking during the same media engagement meeting organized by the NGOCC Executive Director Ingwase Mwale, in a speech read on her behalf by Communication, Advocacy and Networking Unit Coordinator Whitney Mulovela, says the institution is equally concerned about violence that is targeted at women aspiring candidates, especially cyberbullying.
This is not only discouraging women's participation, but is also negatively affecting women continued participation, as it works as a negative force against women's participation. We therefore condemn all forms of violence and appeal to all our political party leaders who, by the way, made commitments. I think they signed some peace accord to commit to peace for elections before, during and after the 12th August elections.
Liseli Kanyanga Mubanga, Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
Youth in Action for Disability Inclusion in Zambia has expressed displeasure over non-consideration of youths with disabilities in the electoral process system. YADI's President, Mr. Ian Banda, says that of all 32 applicants of polling assistant positions, none was considered by the ECZ. Mr. Banda says exclusion on the basis of disability is a form of discrimination. Mr. Wali has since expressed a demand that all youths with disabilities who apply to be polling assistants and duly qualified should be recruited. We have more in this report.
On July 1st, 2021, the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, called on all qualified Zambians to work as poll staff during the 12th August 2021 general election. To be among the shortlisted, an applicant was to be definitely a Zambian with a green national registration card, a registered voter with a grade 12 certificate. Among 1,000 of applicants across the country, 32 members from the Youth in Action for Disability Inclusion in Zambia, YADIS, applied through the office of the town clerk. To Mr. Banda's shock, none of his members was considered to serve as a polling assistant. Mr. Ian Banda is the YADIS director.
After realizing that youths with disabilities who applied to participate in the elections as polling assistants were left out, we are therefore left with no reason but to conclude that they were left out on the basis that they are youths with disabilities. This exclusion is a form of discrimination on the basis of disabilities.
Mr. Banda has since pressed a demand that all youths with disabilities should be recruited.
Thus, our demand that all youths with disabilities who applied to be polling assistants are duly qualified and should be recruited. The Electoral Commission of Zambia and the Office of the Town Clerk in this country has a role to ensure youths with disabilities to implement government programs and policies to benefit of all persons, regardless of disabilities or potential in this country.
Alex Chimba, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The ruling Patriotic Front has charged that all well-meaning Zambians should vote for the PF as they have shown leadership in many sectors of the economy. Speaking to the media, PF National Mobilization Committee member Bizwe Mutale notes that government has scored beyond expectation, hence the need for continuity of development under the PF beyond 2021. Mr. Mutale says President Lungu has shown leadership by taking development to all parts of the country, even in areas where they did not vote for him in the previous election, hence the need to give him another mandate. Meanwhile, Mr. Mutale has called on other political leaders to champion peace as the poll day draws closer.
As we go for the election, the question that you should answer is why President Edgar Chagwa Lungu and the Patriotic Front? Why President Edgar Chagwa Lungu and Patriotic Front? I want you to compare what the work has been done. I want you to compare how the leadership has actually been managed in the country, concerning the infrastructure that has been developed and also concerning the peace that we have enjoyed in our country. There is only one leader who has achieved that. There is only one party that has actually managed the country to have so much infrastructure, and that is Patriotic Front. Patriotic Front needs to be given a chance to continue so that we can form government and continue developing what we are doing. As we speak right now in our country, We have seen so much development. We have seen good leadership. We have seen peace and stability, and those who want them to continue. As you go to vote, why President Edgar Chagwalungu? When you answer, look around you, you will see the answer that this party, this president need to be given to continue again. We are asking Edgar Chagwalungu to consider that we must proceed in peace and stability as we vote. We need the PF to continue.
United Party for National Development UPND Alliance presidential running mate Musalia Nalumango has charged that attaining a decent education under the Patriotic Front government in the last 10 years has been difficult for the majority of Zambians. She notes that most public schools have been marred with constant shortages of stationery, textbooks, among other educational materials. Ms. Nalumango was speaking during a rally in Mpulungu district of Northern Province. We have details in this report.
Competition is getting tighter among political parties as the race to the 12th August general elections is fast approaching, with only 12 days remaining. All eyes have been on the two largest political parties, the ruling Patriotic Front (PF) and the opposition United Party for National Development (UPND). Vice President of the UPND Alliance, Ms. Musalia Nalumango, has challenged the ruling party to point out what it has done in terms of promoting education, stating that majority of Zambians cannot afford quality education due to the lack of stationery and infrastructure in most public schools and the high cost of private schools. Ms. Nalumango, who was speaking during a rally in Mpulungu district of Northern Province, further charges that youth empowerment under the PF has been politically aligned, hence the need for Zambians to vote for change. Media Director of the Patriotic Front, Antonio Mwanza, however, says education and youth empowerment have been prioritized under the PF.
And there is nowhere where the Ministry of Youth, Child Development, or the Ministry of Livestock and Fisheries, or the Ministry of Community Development, or the Ministry of Commerce and Industry ask anyone their political affiliation for them to access empowerment. Empowerment is free, and the political affiliation has never been one of the prerequisites or requirements for you to have access to youth empowerment or women empowerment. PF has made a we have, in the last 10 years, built 700 secondary and primary schools.
Campaigns are nearing an end as Zambians prepare to cast the ballot on August 2021. Zipporah Mushala, Camnet News.
As the opposition Socialist Party prides itself as a party with unique ideology, the United Party for National Development UPND Alliance has charged that socialism cannot work in Zambia. The Alliance partner and leader of the Movement for National Transformation has charged that the socialist concept can only be equated with dictatorship. The Socialist Party spokesperson Rehoboth Kwabulula says socialism is a good political ideology that puts people at the center of development. She has since advised other political parties against undermining the Socialist Party in the forthcoming polls. We have more in the report.
Socialism is a political, social, and economic philosophy encompassing a range of economic and social systems characterized by social ownership of the means of production. 16 political parties participating in this year's election is the Socialist Party. The political party, led by Fred Membe, commits itself to justice, equity, and peace. Socialist Party spokesperson Rehoboth Kwabulula tells this journalist that socialism is what Zambia needs to make sure that ordinary citizens benefit from the national cake.
Only political party that's talking about real change. We're not trying to fix anything. We're not trying to gloss over the issues. We're the only political party that is actually trying to change the substance of what, it is to live in Zambia today, the substance of things that exist in Zambian society today. As things stand now, some of the issues that are being talked about highly are issues to do with tribalism, issues to do with a bad economy, and several others. But the issues going on now, even things like political violence, are recurring issues.
But Movement for National Transformation leader Daniel Shimunza argues that socialism is closer to dictatorship.
And for us in the Movement for National Transformation, and I believe our alliance partners, is the fact that you must have a reformed capitalist system. I don't think that socialism can work in this economy, because we had socialism in the Kaunda era. The state was controlling everything, but where did the economy go? We had coupons for meal. We were lining up in the Kaunda era. So socialism, look at Venezuela, look at Cuba. Those are not models of democracy, because socialism or communism, which is in China, they pander to dictatorship. And that's why we cannot go socialist. We have to maintain democracy and a liberal market system, but reformed to work for the Zambian people.
That position could not go unchallenged.
To say that socialism is dictatorship is really not to understand the fundamentals of political science, really. And that also shows you, just the level of ignorance that somebody has. If you look at even the Socialist Party today, it is among the most democratic parties today. We are a party that, we're the only political party that has fielded even young people, that has fielded women. We're the only political party that is saying the face of governance should not just be older men who have been practicing politics for the last 30 or 40 years.
And Ms. Kafabulula warns other political parties against undermining the Socialist Party.
Well, I think that in some sects of society, people are desperately trying to hold on to the past being the 2016 election. But there was no Socialist Party to talk of then. They are trying to relive the glory days, the days of the two-horse race, but those days are most certainly over.
In this year's election, anything is possible, but it is your time to make your choice and raise your voice by choosing amongst the 16 contestants for the top position. Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
United Party for National Development UPND chairman for elections, Gary Nkombo, has described the conduct of the Zambia police in Eastern Province exhibited against the party president Hakainde Hichilema as barbaric and a breach of the Electoral Code of Conduct. Mr. Nkombo says it is unfortunate that the Zambia Police Service has been reduced to a level of cadarism. Mr. Nkombo has since appealed to the Zambian people to speak through the ballot and usher in a government that upholds the rule of law. We have details in the following report.
Thursday, 29th July 2021, United Party for National Development UPND leader Hakainde Hichilema was blocked from proceeding to campaign in Eastern Province despite the party having acquired permission. For over 2 hours, the opposition leader had to use his negotiating skills to plead with Eastern Province Commissioner Geza Lungu to allow him proceed with his program.
But the members of the Patriotic Front everywhere where we've been, it has been peaceful, and that's why you are there. You have to protect.
We don't want to risk the challenge we have is that there was no notification. So it is a challenge for us. We are not given a program.
Yes. Good evening.
Good evening.
Sir, we must keep our country orderly. We must keep our country under law and order.
The conduct of the police has angered UPND chairperson for election Gary Nkombo, who has called on the police to act professionally and not to be used as cadres.
We want to put it to the country that we continue losing confidence in the police service. We know very well, we have to put a caveat here, that there will be some police officers who are professional, but they are inhibited to conduct themselves professionally for fear of victimization by those who have asserted themselves as wings of a political party, in this case called PF. We would like to make an appeal to those such officers to continue the drive of being impartial, because what is good for the goose is good for the gander.
Mr. Mr. Nkombo says Mr. Hichilema, like any other citizen, has the right to freely move in his own country and has called on the Zambian people to use their vote to bring back justice in the country come 12th August 2021.
We would like the Zambians not to forget all these injustices as we go towards the next fortnight, so that they can give a resounding statement through their vote, through the ballot, on the fact that enough is enough. Enough injustices is too much in this country. Time has come for PF, like we've said it before, we'll say it again, to stop taking advantage of state institutions to advantage themselves. They must stop this habit forthwith.
Zambia has 12 days to decide its next 5 years. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Paramount Chief CHITIMUKULU of Kasama District in Northern Province has implored politicians to uphold the Peace Pact in order to avoid violence before, during and after the August 12 general election. The traditional leader says the two major political parties, being the United Party for National Development UPND and the governing Patriotic Front PF, must demonstrate leadership by committing to the Peace Pact. And social scientist Innocent Kolala notes that political violence must be condemned as it discourages people from turning up to exercise their right to vote. Details in the following report.
In the build-up to the August 12 general election, among things that have been prominent is violence. Others feel if commitments of the peace accord are not being upheld, then it is being rendered useless and pointless, and this has prompted Paramount Chief CHITIMUKULU of the Bemba-speaking people to break the silence.
Because these peace accords were signed by all the political parties, but specifically they were signed between two rival groups, the most outstanding political parties, the United Progressive Party, UPND, and the PF. So we are expecting that these two parties and everybody would honor those peace accords. But unfortunately, the messages we are getting are that some parties are not honoring the peace accord. What could this mean? It means the leaders just want problems to create problems, because the leaders, and then they should at least expect the followers to say what they have been signing. But unfortunately, it seems our leaders are not telling their followers against the violence.
The traditional leader made the remarks when a social scientist, Innocent Kolala, paid a courtesy call on him. Mr. Kolala reminded political parties to continue preaching peace to ensure that people exercise their right to vote in a conducive environment.
We are encouraging all the Zambians that none of the Zambians is supposed to instill fear to any other fellow Zambian in ensuring that they participate in putting up the government of their own choice. Because the violence, what normally entails is that there will be few individuals who will fear not to go and participate in an election, and this is not acceptable in the young democracy of this country.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
The Lusaka Magistrates Court has declined the bail application by the 5 Lusaka youths of Chazanga compound who are accused of proposing violence while filming themselves. This is in a matter in which Kasim Lungu is jointly charged with Joseph Vesa, Justin Chanda, Joseph Chanda and James Sikalumbi with one count of proposing violence or breaches of the law to assemblies, contrary to Section 91, Cap 1, Cap A, Cap B and Cap C of the Penal Code. When the matter came up Friday morning for plea before Magistrate Jennifer Walia, she denied to grant all the accused persons bail until the arresting officer addresses the court to ascertain their credibility once granted bail. Meanwhile, all the accused denied the offense. We have more in this report.
5 youths of Lusaka's Chazanga compound who were recently arrested by the police for proposing violence while filming themselves were Friday morning denied bail by the magistrate court. The accused in this matter, who are Kansimi Lungu, Joseph Wesa, Justin Chanda, Joseph Chanda, and James Kalumbi, aged between 22 and 19, this morning pleaded not guilty to the offense of proposing violence or breaches of the laws to assemblies contrary to Section 91 of the Penal Code. Allegations are that the five, between the 1st January 2019 and the 20th of July 2021, proposed violence to the general public by means of video capturing themselves whilst armed with machetes and wooden planks. Before they took plea, among the accused, James Kalumbi, 19, was told by Magistrate Jennifer Walia that he was supposed to be in a juvenile court, but the fact that he has been jointly charged with adults, he will be treated as such, but he should ensure that his parents are present every time he appears before court. And during the time he was taking his plea, Skalumbi told the court this morning that he was not part of the alleged video that was filmed, nor at the said location, as he was arrested by the police the moment they arrested his friend, Joseph Chanda. And after taking plea, all the five applied for bail pending trial, but the application was objected by the prosecution team on ground that the time the accused were apprehended by the police, none of them gave the officers their physical address. Hence, if bail is granted and the accused decide not to come to court, locating them will be a challenge. However, responding to the prosecution's argument, the accused told the court that at the time they were arrested, none of the officers requested for their residential address. And Magistrate Walia, in a ruling, has since adjourned the case to next week to allow the arresting officer to come and address the court, as she is of the view that a decision to grant the accused bail at this point, before hearing from the arresting officer, will be a rushed decision. The matter comes up on the 3rd of August 2021 for bail hearing application, and the accused are all remanded in custody. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
A consortium of civil society organizations has called for strengthening of the legal framework for the Anti-Corruption Act of 2021 in order to improve the implementation of the fight against corruption. Speaking during the launch of a report on the analysis of the Anti-Corruption Commission Act of 2012 by Action Aid Zambia in Lusaka Friday, Development Policy Consultant Gibson Masubu says the act has many loopholes that make it difficult for the law to be fully implemented, among them the appointment of the Director General at the SEC. We have details in the following report.
Lusaka High Court Judge Mwakami Kalile says she cannot handle the case where former National Democratic Congress leader Chishimba Kambuli, together with his lawyers Chelo Mwinga and Christopher Mundia, sued resident magistrate David SIMUSAMBA for defamation. The former opposition leader, who is now a member of the Patriotic Front in this case, had reported Magistrate SIMUSAMBA to the Anti-Corruption Commission for allegedly attempting to extort 360,000 kwacha from him so that the magistrate would deliver judgment in his favor.
Justice over the behavior of this magistrate in my matter. But it appears nobody wants to do anything. It appears this magistrate is above the law. He cannot be controlled administratively or otherwise.
This lawsuit was earlier handled by Judge Mwila Shtao and has been reallocated to Judge Mwakami Kalile, who has however rescued herself from handling the case. Judge Mikalile's decision to declare interest is in relation to the case she is presiding over in the Lusaka's Magistrate Court, where Kambwili is an accused and has been jointly charged with his son and 3 others with 39 counts of different offences, among them taking pecuniary advantage, forgery and being in possession of property suspected to be proceeds of crime. With the above stated, she says she has declared interest and cannot handle this case. Resident Magistrate David SIMUSAMBA, who has been sued by Kambwili, is alleged to have accused Kambwili together with his lawyers of attempting to bribe him in order to deliver judgment in favor of Kambwili, who was facing charges of forgery, uttering a false document, and giving false information to a public officer before his court. But according to a statement of claim filed before the Lusaka High Court in December 2019, Kambwili had stated that Magistrate SIMUSAMBA had on different occasions solicited money from him so that he could get a favorable judgment in a criminal matter he was facing before him. The former opposition leader had disclosed that Magistrate SIMUSAMBA was on a deliberate path to personally destroy him, especially that he had completely refused to pay the 360,000 kwacha which the latter had demanded. And in 2020, the former NDC leader Kambwili was convicted and sentenced to a 1-year jail term by the said magistrate and is currently out on bail pending appeal. The case is now expected to be reallocated to another judge to handle it. Miriam Kaimba reporting for Camnet TV News.
You're watching Camnet TV Main News. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more news after the break.
On August 12th, we have a choice to make. Perhaps the most important choice in our country's history. One option is to stick with this government and keep things how they are. But after 10 years, we all know what this will mean. More unemployment, more empty plates, more empty pockets. But yet, alternatively, we can embrace change. Change that will create jobs, reduce prices, and more importantly, put food on our tables. Change that will restore hope and move Zambia forward. Sometimes, politics can feel complicated, but this choice could not be clearer. Change for a better life, or 5 more years like the last 10. On August 12th, the choice is yours. The future of your family, the future of our country is in your hands.
Good day to you, dear esteemed customers. As Zamtel, we're glad to bring something of excitement to you, and it's a promotion we've dubbed Yatu, which simply means it's yours. And in this promotion, we're giving benefits that are tailored to you specifically as a customer, depending on the profile or the segment that you're sitting on as a customer. And in this promotion, we are saying you will get from as low as 13 way benefits amounting to over 500%. And it's all for you so that you get more benefits. So to know more about Yatu, stay on.
Yatu is a promotion that offers Zamtel customers amazing benefits that are made just for you. Zamtel customers will get amazing benefits of over 500% bonus back the value that they use when they subscribe to a Yatu offer. Yatu benefits will be usable for Zamtel to Zamtel calls, Zamtel to Zamtel SMSs, and browsing on pay-as-you-go defined rates. For you to access the amazing Yatu offers, all you have to do is dial *335# and select option 1 to purchase the offer that best suits you. Zamtel customers will have the ability to actually purchase the Yatu benefit more than once. So this means you can purchase the offer twice, you can purchase the offer 3 times, and the benefits will be accumulative at the end of the day. Yatu benefits will be able to be redeemed if you subscribe to the same offer within a 5-day period. So if you have unused benefits from the previous day and the expiry date comes, you can still subscribe to the same offer within 5 days and your benefits will be able to accumulate. How amazing is that? For you to check your Yatu benefit balance, all you have to do is dial *335# and select option 2 and you'll be able to see your current balance.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962-642-490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Africa is rising to a new dawn of integrity and accountability. Are you tired of being swindled or buying fake or illegal properties? Would you like to sell or buy genuine property? Would you like to list your property on both local and international market? Don't waste your time. Call the professionals, the SGK Properties on +260 762 166 018. SGK Properties. Your business assurance is our priority.
Welcome back. We continue with the news. A consortium of civil society organizations has called for strengthening of the legal framework for the Anti-Corruption Act of 2021 in order to improve the implementation of the fight against corruption. Speaking during the launch of a report on the analysis of the Anti-Corruption Commission Act of 2021 by Action Aid Zambia in Lusaka Friday, development policy consultant Gibson Masubu says the act has many loopholes that make it difficult for the law to be fully implemented, among them the appointment of the Director General of the ACC. Details in the following report.
Despite Zambia being ranked number 113 out of 180 most corrupt countries globally, according to the Transparency International Corruption Index, one can say that not much is being done to ensure that perpetrators of corruption are brought to book, especially when it involves those holding public office. This has been attributed to the gaps in the legal framework and the implementation that needs to be amended in order to see the trajectory changing. This was brought to light during the launch of the report of the analysis of the Anti-Corruption Act of 2012 by Action Aid Zambia.
So the proposals that maybe an independent body could be put in place that will take care of the appointment.
So it's a dual problem because, let me just give an example. If you look at the laws that we have, you will see challenges. Let me give an example of autonomy, first of all. So you will see that the Anti-Corruption Commission is not having enough authority to, or does not have the authority to proceed with the case. They need to seek consent. So it means that that affects their implementation. If they were determined to fight corruption, there's a case that they have seen this is a worthwhile case to prosecute. Before they move forward, they need to seek consent. And then that creates a problem. So it's a legal problem, but also a problem with implementation.
Also reacting to the report, Anti-Corruption Acting Director General Rosemary Kuzwayo, in a speech read on her behalf by ACC Secretary to the Commission, Ivo Mukwanka, agreed with the Action Aid report, citing that there is need to strengthen the legal framework.
Due to the complexity and evolving nature of corruption and its related offenses, the report brings out the need to revise the Anti-Corruption Act and other laws so as to strengthen the legal framework and provide for effective prosecution of corruption cases and deterring the would-be offenders in management of public finance management.
As the debate surrounding the strengthening of the ACC legal framework continues, it can be seen from other countries with robust legal frameworks still struggle with issues to do with corruption, as they still remain rife as leaders still plunder national resources with impunity, indicating the role of political players in order to ensure the much-needed success to fight this cancer. Liseli Kanyanga Mubanga, Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
A civil society for scaling up nutrition, CSO-SAN research, has revealed that the people living in poverty have up to an 80% chance of giving birth to differently abled children due to poor diets. Speaking in an exclusive interview with Camnet TV, organization country director Mr. Matthew Muhuru says that this is due to low levels of nutrition intake. He explains that such families need to be educated on the importance of nutrition and supported with funds from various stakeholders. Mr. Muhuru says supporting poor families cannot be left to government alone.
So
of course, and other researches that have been done by other partners have also shown a direct relationship between disability and high poverty levels. So for us as the Civil Society Scaling Up Nutrition Alliance, one of our advice that we would want to recommend to government is that they really need to pay attention to households that have disability, as this is where most of the pressure when it comes to food insecurity, as well as also just poverty-related issues, is. So even just with the high commodity prices that we are seeing, the pressure is more on houses that have, disability.
KRI Zambia director says smallholder farmers are not satisfied by the less access to finances targeted towards farmers. Speaking on behalf of smallholder farmers in an interview with Camnet News, KRI Zambia director Dr. Frank Kayula says it is difficult to get hold of resources the SMEs should use to carry out their farming activities. Meanwhile, Dr. Kayula has also stated that political parties' manifestos are not clear on how they want to work with SMEs in order to boost the country's economy through agricultural sector. More in the following report.
Reports indicate that smallholder farmers account for 90% of the world's 570 million farms. Smallholder farmers operate under a small-scale agriculture model. Representing the smallholder farmers, KRI Zambia Executive Director Dr. Frank Kayula says access to finances by smallholder farmers still remains a challenge. Dr. Kayula has also disclosed that it is not clear what most aspiring political parties hold in their manifestos.
This country, I speak for them because they are our members at KRI Zambia, number one. Number two is because the large-scale farmers are relatively cared for by the commercial banks. But for smallholder farmers, access to finance is very difficult. And we want a government that is going to ensure that the smallholder farmers have access to finance. We know we have at FISIP, but FISIP hasn't worked the best. We would have loved it to work.
Dr. Kayula has also disclosed that it is not clear what most aspiring political parties hold in their manifestos when it comes to providing resources for the smallholder farmers.
The targeting for FISIP is very poor. When you go also to the contents, the inputs themselves are not sufficient to uplift the smallholder farmer. So what we are looking forward to is a government that will provide an enabling environment so that a smallholder farmers can also access loans and they should be able to invest. We are also looking forward to a government that is going to ensure that they start.
Mr. Kayula has added that the Farmers Input Support Program FISIP is faced with many challenges, hence it's not achieving some of its main objectives. Blessings Chakwila, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Zambia has, in the last 24 hours, recorded 956 new confirmed COVID-19 cases out of 7,019 tests conducted and has recorded 21 deaths. Disclosing to the media through a press statement, Ministry of Health Permanent Secretary Technical Services Dr. Kennedy Malama says the ministry has so far discharged 1,001 patients, that is 50 from health facilities and 951 from the community. Dr. Malama has stated that this has brought the cumulative number of recoveries to 186,211. The Permanent Secretary has further added that in the last 24 hours, they have admitted 64 patients. Dr. Malama has urged the country not to drop the guard as the COVID-19 situation remains serious. Victims of an online scam called eTesco and GoLike have called on Zambia's Republican President Dr. Edgar Lungu to intervene in their matter. David Mulenga, who spoke on behalf of the over 30,000 people who have been affected, told Camnet News that evidence suggests that some of the accounts used by the scammers to swindle their monies have been phrased by the relevant banks with cash still available. He says President Lungu should intervene by directing the relevant authorities to investigate the matter and direct the banks to release the remaining resources. I have details in the following report.
They gathered in numbers to plead with Zambia's Republican President Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu to help them retrieve even part of the monies they were swindled by some online scammers called Itisco and Golai. These are some of the representatives of the over 30,000 Zambians across the country who were prompted to invest in an online business that promised good return once you made an investment. It is believed that over 28 million kwacha has been lost in the scam, and the victims now want President Lungu to direct a team to quickly investigate the news that the Z code used by the scammers is linked to multiple Absa bank accounts, which have since been frozen with cash still in them.
They cry, they just give children their phones to talk to me. Mama has committed something like this. Mama has done this. Please help her. We've cried, Your Excellency, sir. We've cried as your children. We have cried. There was the issue of Z codes. The Z codes which we are using as we contacted the MTN and the Airtel, they said that some cash was blocked from the same account. So we are crying that that same cash which was blocked, can please reverse the cash to the people who are crying.
4 people are said to have committed suicide after realizing that they had been swindled of their hard-earned cash. Those around are now worried that more life might be lost, hence the plea to the head of state.
People are committing suicide. We are dying. Others are in hospitals right now. They are paralyzed. We need our money. Please, Mr. President, help us. We are devastated. 30,000 people have been affected with this scam. It's the whole Zambia, countrywide. Nurses, doctors, teachers, just everyone. We've been affected. Mr. President, please, we are appealing.
We don't really know what is going on. We tried to call the MTN guys. They said in some numbers are in they've been captured, they've been frozen, whereas they have money in them. Yet to some other people, when they try to call them, they are saying no, in those accounts there is no money. So our cry here, myself, as my cry, I'm a student. I invested my school fees in this thing, and my cry to the Republican president is for help. Let him look into this matter to see us, to help us. Otherwise, we are dying. Already, as I'm talking, 6 people committed suicide, 2 from Kabwe, 4 from Lusaka. Please, we need your help, the Republican president of Zambia.
Cases of online scammers have continued to be on the rise in Zambia, and one wonders why Zambians are still ignorant over the matter. This should serve as a lesson to many other Zambians who might be on the road to being trapped by online scammers over their hard-earned cash. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
This is Camnet TV News, not just another channel. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more news after this.
In this fast-paced era of industrial boom and population growth, there is need to invest in smart ways of managing electricity and water consumption and reducing utility billing costs associated with the postpaid billing system. At Savenda Electronics, we manufacture right here in Zambia different types of high-quality smart electricity and water meters to customer specifications. Savenda Electronics water and electricity meters help you monitor your usage and gives notifications such as low units, tampering, low battery, and many other features. These easy-to-use meters makes it easier to buy units even in these COVID times and top up just from the comfort of your space. Favorable contract terms are available to both electricity and water utilities. For more details, get in touch with us on the following numbers: 0956 580 349 or 0977 498 318. Savenda Electronics, the real deal.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes, and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
Master Signs, our services range from outdoor, indoor signage such as billboards, banners, 3D light boxes, pylons and neon signs. We are located at plot number 397A, Makeni Road, Lusaka, at Oryx Filling Station. For more details, call us on +260 967 100 090 or +260 966 999 981, or better still, email us at infomastersign@gmail.com. Master Sign, we will make it shine.
Harry Mwanga Nkumbula International Airport, located just 15 kilometers from the Victoria Falls, is now one of the best and busiest airports that Zambia has. Vote for Edgar Chagwalungu and the PF that have brought you change.
Are you a small to medium enterprise looking to advertise your products and services within your community and across Zambia? In these economic times, we are here to help you grow your business. Advertise with us on Camnet Market. Camnet Market is offering lower rates for prime time advertising between 06 to 18 hours every day to give your business an edge under the new normal and beyond. For more details, contact us on the following numbers: 097 975 3010 or 096 296 5883, as well as 096 244 726. You can also reach us via email on info@camnettvafrica.com. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back. We'll continue with news, and we have international news. In international news, survivors of human trafficking marched alongside activists through the streets of Nigeria's capital, Abuja, on Thursday as part of a campaign to raise awareness of the issue. And in other news, as the Delta variant of COVID-19 continues to spread, many countries on the African continent have been struggling with a new wave of cases. In June, the continent suffered the fastest surge it has experienced so far, with a record of 1 million infections, according to the World Health Organization, WHO. While richer countries have tackled rises in cases with large vaccine rollouts, Africa has faced a challenge with the amount of doses received nowhere near the amount needed to vaccinate the adult population. Here's a roundup of international news.
In a village in Kenya's Kitui County on Wednesday, mourners assembled for the burial of 27-year-old Nancy Ndanu Musyoka and her 7-month fetus. Musyoka succumbed to coronavirus. Stories of loss and despair caused by the pandemic can be found everywhere in Kenya. First, with the Delta variant, which is driving up infections and an ill-equipped healthcare system, the East African country is desperate for vaccines.
Wherever you stay, Mama will stay. The problem which caused the death of my daughter is that, first of all, there was no enough vaccination in this country, which is also a problem facing the Africa as a whole. That is one. Two, we are facing we don't have enough oxygen. Because if she could have get enough oxygen in our hospital here, our life could have already been saved.
Kenya has only received a handful of vaccines. The country has so far only administered 1.7 million jabs, and just 1.2% of the population is fully vaccinated.
Mercy Corps calls on high-income countries to be more active in making that change and making sure that the vaccine gets into the arms of the people who need it most. We've got frontline workers, people who are sick, but there should not be any barrier to preventing people from getting it. Rich, poor, people need the vaccine. Until the vaccination rates are high, people will continue to die, people will continue to get sick.
The African Union has embarked on a plan to increase the continent's vaccine production capacity.
Survivors of human trafficking marched alongside activists through the streets of Nigeria's capital, Abuja, on Thursday as part of a campaign to raise awareness of the issue. Activists say many victims of human trafficking face ignorance or misunderstanding in their attempt to get help and have had traumatic post-rescue experiences.
Whoever dies is thrown, no burial, no funeral. We continue the journey. After 1 week and 2 days in the desert, we arrived at a town called Saba in Libya. This town is notorious for human trafficking and kidnappings. Immediately we got to Saba in a place called Taradona.
Those trafficked from Nigeria are often lured with the prospect of good jobs abroad, but find themselves trapped with concocted debt of the traffickers.
People are recruited from various places and taken to places
where they are made to believe that they are owing somebody. They made them to sign like $70,000, 80,000 euro, and all that, to say that is the amount of money that we use in bringing you. And until you pay all that, you cannot be free.
The journey from Nigeria commonly involves a dangerous crossing of the Sahara Desert. In 2018, around 50,000 human trafficking victims were detected and reported by 148 countries, according to the United Nations.
On a recent evening in Rome, a couple of dozen people get their jabs at a pop-up COVID-19 center. Some are homeless, others are immigrants. Clinics like this are the only chance they have to get vaccinated.
You can't get a vaccine appointment, a health card, or visit a doctor if you're like me and your residency isn't sorted out.
Across Italy, there are more than 600,000 people who live and work without documents, many of them migrant farm workers from Asia and Africa. And for months, Italy has struggled to find a way to reach these communities. It was made more difficult because the delivery of care is handled by Italy's 20 regions, so each region has had to come up with its own plan.
È una sfida sanitaria.
It's a public health and political challenge. The goal is to provide a service to the last ones in line, migrants who have been totally exploited, and at the same time we help ourselves by vaccinating them.
Now regional health officials are partnering with agencies and charities and going directly to these communities, making appointments for people whether they have national health insurance or not. They're also setting up mobile vaccine centers, like this one on the edge of a large immigrant community.
In 3 days, officials have vaccinated more than 1,100 people here, all of them migrant farm workers, and 20% of them have no legal work papers.
We asked some here if those without documents were afraid of being caught out and sent home just by taking the shot. Through a Punjabi translator, one undocumented worker told us he wasn't scared. He just wanted to be safe from COVID-19. Many migrants are given a single Johnson & Johnson dose, an acknowledgement that they are hard to track down for follow-up appointments. Some officials, though, are hoping this is a turning point for Italy. At the pop-up clinic in Rome, temporary national health cards are issued.
So the vaccination became an entry point to give some form of health assistance to people that do not have the opportunity.
Italy relies heavily on foreign workers to pick its fruit and vegetables. Although regions are trying to vaccinate as many people as they can, there's no national database of how many undocumented migrants have received the shot. That poses a risk both to the migrants themselves and Italians. Adam Rainey, Al Jazeera, Rome.
It's now time for sports news. The Football Association of Zambia says the senior football national team has a busy 4 months ahead with back-to-back fixtures in the Qatar 2022 FIFA World Cup qualifiers. This has come after the appointment of BESTON CHAMBESHI as a technical bench coach to be assisted by Numba Mumamba and Aliosa Asanovic. They have added that the technical bench has been given 3 months contracts to steer the Chipolopolo through a clogged Qatar 2022 FIFA World Cup qualification process. Zambia is in Group B alongside Tunisia, Equatorial Guinea and Mauritania. That story brings us to the end of the news, but we'll take a look at the headlines once again. ECZ claims ignorance over the foreign elements found among ballot papers. Prominent judge recuses herself from the KAMBWILI'S case against David SIMUSAMBA. Paramount chief CHITIMUKULU speaks out on political violence. And in international news, Kenya's pandemic plan upset by vaccine shortages. And in sports news, BESTON CHAMBESHI and team have a busy 4 months ahead of the Qatar 22 FIFA World Cup qualifiers. We now look at the Camnet verse for the day, coming from Galatians 6 verse 9 to 10, and it reads, "So we must not get tired of doing good, for we will reap at the proper time if we don't give up." Therefore, as we have opportunity, we must work for the good of all, especially for those who belong to the household of faith. On that note, we come to the end of our news. And thanks for watching. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Bye-bye.